G'day cheeky dogs, my name's Margie and I'm an Australian currently living in America. Today's video is going to be a breakdown of the Bluey Season 3 episode Smoochy Kiss, which we all know is going to probably get heavily censored. Thank you, Disney.
But hello in the future, it is October 10th at like 9 a.m. and I have decided to re-release this video because Disney has decided to release this episode, and only this episode from season 3B. It is listed as episode 49 and Family Meeting as number 50, which makes no sense because they're skipping 25 to 49 50. So look, I don't know what's going on with that, and I'm going to actually have a huge live stream about it this afternoon to talk about some of the information I found out on Reddit about some of the focus groups they had about this episode and why Disney released it. But either way, it's on Disney Plus now, and it is uncensored. Like, there's no censorship of the peeing or anything like that. So I'm gonna show you guys, this is my breakdown I did from when it came out in Australia. I did take it down because I had to do some edits to it a couple of months back, and I was just expecting to release it, you know, in like April or May next year when it got to Disney Plus. But no, it's releasing today, October 10th. So if you haven't seen the episode, definitely go and watch it, especially after this breakdown. There's no really big spoilers here, but it's all the Easter eggs, all the really fun, cool stuff and the references. So I hope you guys enjoy this video as much as we enjoyed waking up to see Smoochy Kiss and Family Meeting on Disney.
If you're new to my channel though, I like to do breakdowns of Bluey as well as other animated stuff and Australia versus America content. So if you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. So with all that fun stuff being said, let's jump straight into it with the synopsis for this episode. Smoochy Kiss. Bluey and Bingo want Dad all to themselves until they discover he has some gross habits. So I'm really glad we got sort of a more light-hearted episode after some of the more emotional ones with Space and the episode onesies. So this episode, we're just focusing on the family and it's nice and light-hearted. We go on an intro scene, we see Bluey dancing around, and straight away we have a reference to the episode from season 3B, the first one we had, musical statues, where the girls are dancing. We can hear Bluey's favorite music in the background, sort of like this techno dance music. Chili tells her to shake it. It kind of reminds me a lot of like Shake It Off with Taylor Swift. And then we get our lesson for the episode. You've got to take the good with the bad, kid. Now, season 3B has been doing this a lot, where they literally are spelling out the whole lesson in like the first 3 lines, basically. So not surprisingly, same thing happens again. And then we get Bandit coming in with a fantastic Beyonce Single Ladies music reference here, which I absolutely love. The girls are really stoked to see him because he's been out for a run. Again, another reference to Bandit exercising and his weight, which we've seen a lot of so far for season 3B. So I'm hoping that they address this at some stage. I feel like they will, because otherwise this is a lot of setup for it. Something to note as well is if you have a look at the fridge, it's the wrong way around. So in all the other episodes, the door handles have been on the left and that's how the fridge opens up. But for this episode, the door handles are on the right this time. So just like a small animation error, but I think they did this on purpose to sort of show Bandit eating out of the fridge in a couple of scenes. And then they have this funny like little scene with Bingo and Bluey, like, you know, play fighting with Chili. And one of the most hilarious lines from Bluey saying like, whiskey, 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 which I feel is also a bit of like an adult joke as well. But the door beeping reminds me a lot of that episode Bingo, where the door beeps at her as well. We then have Bluey doing our title cards for the second time for season 3B that she's done it, saying Smoochy Kiss with the basil at the top. They then switch into the patio room where we see 2 Easter eggs, our long dog on the couch, as well as the tennis ball underneath the couch. We can also see like the pineapple pot plants in the back there as well. So again, a pineapple reference. And it's really funny, you know, the girls are sort of looking for Mom and she's like hiding. They tackle Mom and they all run off, and then we get some really cool Easter eggs. One, we get a whole new part of the house. We see them running down this hallway that we've never seen before. But we get in the photo frames on the hallway, we have our second tennis ball, and then we see pictures of baby Bluey and baby Bingo, which we have never seen before. And something I think is so sweet is that baby Bingo has Floppy with her. So obviously, no wonder she's so attached to it. She's had it since she was a baby. And of course, really cute that they've got the big B and the little B just like they do on their beds, but on the photo frames. Now, the next photo we see, of course, then is of Bandit's family. So we got Rad, Bandit, and Stripe, basically around the same ages, I think, of when they were in Fairy Tale. So this is another really cool sort of Easter egg, and also might explain how the girls could envision what their dad looked like as that age because they've seen this picture around the house. We get another new room, so another toilet in the laundry room. And also here you can see there's a calendar in the background there. This calendar now has 7 days. In the past, many calendars in Bluey have had like 3 or 5 days. So the details are getting a bit more there. But the picture on it looks a lot like a tuk-tuk. So something that you would see in Thailand or Bali or basically all of Southeast Asia. But we've also seen them sort of do this in the episode Backpackers. So I love that they have these references to them traveling. So they go into the toilet and I love it. Bluey makes such a dad reference here of telling him only peeing. And he's like, yes, boss. And I feel like any mum and parent can kind of relate to this. The fact that dads always take forever when they go to the bathroom when it's not a pee. And I mean forever. So no wonder she makes this joke. So I really love that. A great joke for parents. And then you can hear in the background Bandit peeing. You can hear it, which we just know Disney is going to censor that out straight away. And then you hear him swearing, but he says duck cake, so a reference to the episode Duck Cake. And then he comes out and basically tells Bluey that he peed on his foot. Again, a lot of us in the live stream are like, how much of this is Disney gonna let there be, or will they just totally erase this episode? I hope they don't, because it's so funny, because again, it's sort of like a male joke about this one, but you can see Bluey's reaction. She's freaking out, and Bandit makes this great joke of welcome to middle-aged kid. So referencing his age, we know that he's around sort of his mid-40s, so this is sort of just more confirmation that he is middle-aged. And it's funny, we see him trying to wash his foot off in the tub, and then we pan back outside to Bingo, who's being snuck up upon by Chili inside of a cardboard box. A couple of different references. Of course, the obvious trope of like people hiding in bushes and the bushes sneaking up on people. But also it reminds me a little bit of Doctor Who and like I think it's the Weeping Angels, so they creep up on you and then attack you when you're not looking. But I feel like the most obvious reference is Metal Gear cardboard box. So that I think is a really cool reference as well. Get another reference to the line, "This is outrageous." We've heard that a lot this season. And then again, Bandit telling Bluey to toughen up, kid. Again, toughen up. Also a reoccurring theme for this season too. And then he grabs out this green shirt to wipe his leg and Bluey freaks out. She's like, that's my shirt. And he makes the best joke, especially a meta joke, I think, saying, oh, you hardly wear it. Because yeah, they don't wear clothes ever or hardly ever. So I feel like that's a bit of a joke to us as the audience. Bluey making Bandit promise not to do any more disgusting things, but lo and behold, of course, he lifts his leg up, which kind of reminds me of like a dog lifting their leg up to pee. But he lifts it up to release a Fluffy, which is a reference to the season 3 episode Family Time. And then they're like, oh, quick, now's your chance for a smoochy kiss. And Chili does this really cool animation, like with her eyebrows going up and down, like, ooh, yeah. Race back into the kitchen where we see another Easter egg underneath the sink there. You can see Chattermax. So this is sort of one of the only times you can really get a good shot of it. But now they're trying to hide their mum around the kitchen. We see the basil being used. Now this time Bingo is attacking her dad, unlike how she's attacking her mum earlier. And then as we get that scene, we can also see our next long dog, so 2 for this episode. So over there on the kitchen bench, we've got our long dog also hiding in a box with what looks like an orange on it. I feel like this reference is something from Queensland, but I just can't remember what. So if you know, let me know in that comment section down below. And then we see this really cool, like above looking down animation scene of them going around the kitchen and of Chili cleaning up as they go around the kitchen. You can see her pushing the drawers away, closing all the cupboards. The girls are going through all the disgusting things that he does. So we've got armpit leaking, we've got gravy licking off of his body, peeing on his foot, pulling out his nose, doing fluffies. So 5 new disgusting ones. Mum kind of laughs about the peeing on the foot joke, being like, oh, that's new. And Bandit's like, no, it's not. And then we get that lesson again of you gotta take the good with the bad. And then Bandit being like, yeah, your mum's not great either. She's not a bunch of roses, so she's not as beautiful and pretty as she seems. Now, I feel like sardines on toast or anchovies on toast is a very like old school breakfast in Australia, or even old school snack. Like I remember like my dad, he would like to have this all the time. I don't think it's much of like a newer generation thing, but definitely an older generation thing, or even kind of British thing. And it's quite funny, Bandit's about to go and tell the girls like more of the disgusting things that Chili does, and she makes like this really loud crunch sound and sort of gives him a bit of like her mini death glare, and he was like, you know, I'll just keep it to myself. And again, we get another reference to toughening up. So kids, if you're going to belong to someone, you better toughen up. I honestly wonder if like this episode is just so much the middle finger towards Disney perhaps, and being like, you know, toughen up and let us just show you what our show is like, as well as all the other things that would normally get censored are just being shoved into this episode. So I don't know, I think that's a bit of a funny meta joke. They do a smoochy kiss, which is the first time we've seen a smoochy kiss in season 3, but also the first time all the way since season 1 with the episode The Pool. So it's been a while since we've seen them do a smoochy kiss. And then the end credit scene is really funny because it's just Chili in the box kind of like hopping along the credits. So overall for me, I would give this, I'm gonna give this like a 4 out of 5. It's a really beautiful, fun, happy episode. We've got all our traditional Easter eggs in there, the long dogs, the tennis balls, Chattermax, the pineapples. We also got some new family photos, which is great to see as well. So overall, just a really nice, happy, feel-good episode, which is something that we really needed. after some of the previous really meta ones, as well as the real in-depth emotional ones. So I love it. Bluey, I feel like, is trying to, balance it out, showing that this is also for kids, but also for adults too. 4 out of 5 for me. What would you guys give this out of 5 long dogs? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget as well to hit that like button if you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. And what do you think that this might be called in other countries where Smoochie is censored? Until then, I have picked you out a few other different videos here, and here, and I will see you guys in another video. Mwah! Bye!